Hey guys, Hunter Britt with CrossFit Invictus. Today we're going to talk about some technique on the deadlift, and then we're going to talk about 2 drills on how to break through some plateaus you're hitting for your strength, and hopefully lead to some new PRs.
Rotating to the hip.
New runner.
All right guys, so first thing we're going to talk about in the deadlift is when I see people set up for a deadlift is they do a great job, shins up next to the bar, that's wonderful, but we think about deadlift as we start to pull. But first thing you do is push. So get up next to the bar, get set up, I need to see you push, get tension out of the bar, but next, even again, before you pull, there needs to be a rock back. You guys see, if I push and rock back, that starts to pick the bar off the ground, that gets tension out of the bar, and that gets it bending. So whatever the weight is, whether it's 135, whether it's 400, that gets the bar bending or actually moving. Before I even start lifting, that gets me ahead of the curve. All right, so that's what I want to do. All right, so push, rock back, then I'm going to start pulling. Now, once the bar is to this position, my shins should be vertical, right? So what I want you guys to think about is we're so used to, most people are doing a lot of cleans, or thinking about a low hip position is what I'm commonly seeing when I see deadlifts. We're gonna have our hips higher in the deadlift, so what I want you to think about is if I can push my knees back and my hips forward at the same time and get them to lock out, that's gonna give me a great job at contracting my glutes and my hamstrings at the same time for a lot of strength. So, if I'm at this position, if I can think knees back and hips forward at the same time, I'm gonna really feel both my hamstrings and my glutes going. And those 2 things, if I think about that as opposed to just hitching forward or getting in my quads, if I fight that for a little while, that's gonna go a long way in the future rather than just taking that shortcut of hitching under the bar. All right guys, so the first drill that I find fantastic for improving deadlift strength is bent over rows. And there's plenty of ways to do them. You can do them supinated, pronated, with a tempo, without, with a little bit of body English. What I want to do today is just a power row, so with kind of a kip, if you will, and we'll do it pronated. What I find really great about it is you can add a lot of weight to it. Today I'm just using it's kilos, but about 135, just for demonstration purposes. But typically I would like most people to get up to about 40–50% of their max deadlift, and you can use straps or just a hook grip if you're tough. But as you guys work through this, things to remember is the goal is to always try to keep your chest as close to parallel to the ground as you can. You might be a little bit leaned up, that's okay. But as people start working through it, is every rep start getting higher and higher because it makes it easier. So keep your chest leaned over, that's a big point. And then you're trying to row back between your waistline and your belly button. If you're up higher than that, you're doing a lot of biceps, and that's not gonna train anything beneficial for your deadlift, even though biceps are good, I understand. But so for this, what you guys are going to do is from here you're going to just up into the waist. So you'll use as much weight as you can while keeping your chest weighted over or leaned over, and then also getting the weight all the way up into your waist. A big fault that I typically see is people start doing that lawnmower action, and that would look like this, where they start dipping back into the bar. That's taking tension out of the pull. That's not what I want to see. So if you start doing that, lower the weight, make sure that the entire time you're just rising up and then you're going back down. And that you feel that tension in your lats the entire time. This goes a long way with breaking through new plateaus with a deadlift, so give it a shot. Let me know how it goes. All right, so the next movement is the glute ham raise. What I love about it is you only really can use your hamstrings. Most movements that we do are lower back prioritized as the movement, or that takes over. So the hamstrings do a lot in the deadlift, or they can do a lot when there's something that actually is strengthened or focused on. So in the glute ham raise, what you're gonna do when you set up is you're gonna make sure that your knees are about halfway between the top and the bottom, right? You don't want to slide off the bottom, but if you're at the top, it's going to be just too difficult to actually perform the movement. So for the movement, it's pretty simple. Just try to make sure your hips stay in the same position, so extended the entire time. If that means you need to kind of just focus on pushing them forward as much as you can, I'd rather you do that rather than just breaking as you work through it. So what you're gonna do is just make sure that your knees actually get fully extended, all right? You don't need to pause at the end, but then you'll come on back. So a good rep would just look like knees fully extended and then bring it back. If you attempt this and you're not able to do a full rep, that's totally fine. What you can do to help make this a little easier is you can have a buddy either grab your shoulders, which is my preferred method of actually doing the rep, just because then they can kind of adjust how much they're helping you depending on how much you need assistance. If you don't have a friend that can help you, then you can use a band or a PVC pipe to kind of get through whatever reps or sets are prescribed in whatever program that you're following that's giving you glute ham raises to do. But go ahead and give these a shot and then see how sore you are the next day for your first time doing these, and hopefully that gives you some new PRs for your deadlift. All right, I hope those new tips and techniques help with your deadlifts, so give them a shot, and hopefully that leads some new PRs in your deadlifts and break through some new plateaus.